if I make that change go fast enough, then it'll start going fast enough that that becomes a sound in and of itself.
So you make good money off vending machines or not?
Yeah, but I learned with that I could make $1,000 a month. So imagine if I have 100. You have to pay anybody to do it, and it's not time consuming.
Creating another frequency. No, I mean it's a bunch of frequencies, but it's oscillating it rather than just oscillating like this sound is at 440 hertz. It's like not only is this sound 440 hertz, but its pitch is moving 30 times per second, which is going to make it sound like there's another audible tone to it, which creates a way more complex timbre.
You want some bread?
Sure.
All right, thank you. You're welcome, dude.
Once upon a time, 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 upon a time, upon a time, a time upon a time, upon a time upon a world.
It's more like you have a more complex way of generating a signal.
Once upon a time, a time,
That's true. And it's also not sound, light essentially. But well, the decoding is basically you just phase cancel the carrier frequency, and what you're left over with is just the modulation. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if you just like subtract 100 megahertz, right, from the signal, what you're left over with is exactly. So, and then that you can turn into an audio signal, right?
So
Because it was modulated at audio rates, but it was transmitted at radio rates. Decoding is, I'm pretty sure that's essentially what the decoding comes down to, is you just get rid of the fucking, of the radio part. Or I don't even know if you need to really, but you need something that takes that modulated, because sound is just frequency and amplitude, and frequency is essentially just amplitude changes, right? And just amplitude changes that happen really fast, right? That's what frequency is. And so when you receive the modulated signal, you just say like, okay, how was it modulated? And then the result is a perfect replication, a near perfect replication of the sound, right? Because it's just like, I have, if it goes, then it's gonna sound just like, if you can graph it, you can recreate the sound basically, right? And then what that does is that it gets you can have even better, you have way less signal degradation and you're way less susceptible to noise, because if something happens to that signal while it's in the air, right? The receiver can determine, because there's only two choices, it's on or off, right? At any given bit. So the receiver can determine, oh, it was trying to be on there.
right.
And so it can just reconstruct and correct.
Checksum, right?
Exactly. It just recorrects the sound coming in, or it just recorrects the bits to make sure that like it was closer to on than it was to off. So this bit will be on, that bit will be off, and then now even if there was interference or something, you have a better version of the sound, which is, so instead of it modulating based on what you're hearing, it's just like encoding it into ones and zeros and then just flipping on and off, on and off, on and off.